Hey, it's Bonnie Mastati from Bonnie.
And it's so important for us to have cameras that we can rely on. We reached out to 702 so that they could give us a quote for installing brand new cameras in all areas of our building. And now we have 26 cameras so that we know every part of our building is under surveillance and we're secure. We've had cameras in our business for a while, but we reached out to 702 because we were having issues. A lot of them weren't working all the time. So 702 was able to come in, give us a solution, fix everything, install all brand new cameras. And now we know we've got better audio, better quality, and we have an app that we use that has full surveillance 24 hours a day for us to pull up and know exactly what's going on. As a business owner, that peace of mind is invaluable.
If you want more peace of mind for your business that's invaluable, call 702 Communications right now at 218-250-8700. Again, 218-250-8700. Call now because peace of mind is priceless.
The Jay Thomas Show.
And don't let him scare you with the clock pulling polish out. You're going to be knocked out. You know, the best part is afterwards you get a bag of Cheetos.
I didn't get a bag of Cheetos.
See, when did you have yours 30 years ago?
Good Lord, what doctor do you go to? Unicorn General? I mean, what the hell is this? You get Cheetos.
Dr. Frito-Lay.
Nice.
The Jay Thomas Show, weekday afternoons at 2 here on WDAY.
They'll have you laughing right along with them. They're Bonnie and Friends.
What does your beard look like, Jeff?
It's different colors.
Oh, red, white, and blue?
No.
He's like a calico cat.
It's like brown and white.
Like a calico
really?
cat.
I'm like a calico cat. Meow.
I don't care for cats. So how about... How about green and red?
I think I got some food coloring in my
You
my
stop
go bag.
right there. You could just stop that right now.
Bonnie and Friends. Catch them weekday mornings beginning at 5.
Did you know there are 6 main types of corn? There's flour corn, waxy maize, sweet corn, popcorn, dent, and flint. Corn's scientific name is Zea maize. The word maize most likely comes from a Latin American Aboriginal tribe's name for corn, which meant life giver. Due to the unusual adaptability of corn seeds, every state in the United States has land capable of growing some type of corn, despite differences in soil and climate. These farm facts brought to you by the American Ag Network.
The pets in our home love us, from the moment they meet us until the day they leave us. Homeless animals would do the same if only they had the chance. Be an animal's hero. Adopt. Turtle Mountain Animal Rescue has the perfect 4-legged family member waiting to meet you right now. Find yours at turtlemountainanimalrescue.org. To learn more, follow them on Facebook for nightly 9 p.m. live broadcasts. Remember, to adopt, visit turtlemountainanimalrescue.org today.
970 WDAY AM and 93.1 FM. Fargo Moorhead.
And welcome to Weather and Ag in Focus. Thanks for joining us on this Wednesday afternoon. 16 degrees outside, a little freezing. Drizzle, winter weather advisory is in effect. We'll touch on that forecast in just a moment. I'm meteorologist Justin Storm here with Ag Director Bridgette Readel, and certainly not last, Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki. Hey, good afternoon, guys. How's it going today?
Not bad. Like to see some sunshine, but I think we've been saying that for about 2 weeks now.
Yeah, I wish we could.
Man.
There will be a day, right? We're going to get the sun back eventually, guys. Really?
Maybe.
We will. Spring. Yeah. Maybe this weekend a little
good.
bit. Bridgette, you had one of our listeners send an email asking a question. What was that question again?
They did. So yesterday afternoon, probably in that 2 to 4 o'clock time frame, as you went north out of Fargo, there was some mist, or I don't want to call it drizzle, but windshields were icing up, and it was about 18 degrees. And so I had the question, why was that happening? Why wasn't it snow? So guys, why?
So, and we have kind of that same setup here over Fargo. That's why we have the winter weather advisory. There's just a little mist, not even drizzle, but just a little mist, freezing on windshields, freezing a little bit on the road, untreated roadways. And I guess it's kind of a complicated, we'll try and make this easy. So snowflakes form between about 14 and 18,000 feet. They call it the dendritic growth zone. So snowflakes are dendrites, and that's where they grow and form between 14 and 18,000 feet. And so we'll look in that area for snow to form. Now, that wasn't the setup today and just the other day. So when you have that light mist and drizzle, typically your air is saturated, and then today it was saturated all the way up to about 5,000 feet. So when you have air that's saturated all the way up to 5,000 feet, and you have very little lift in the atmosphere. So you have to have lift. You have to have something pushing that air. And
like a giant fan.
Yeah. And so, not a windmill. And so when you have lift in the atmosphere, you'll get precip to form. But if you have very light or very little lift, and you have air saturated all the way up to about 5,000 feet, you're going to get that drizzle, you're going to get that fog, so you don't have enough lift in the atmosphere to produce rain, to produce any snow. So we had very little lift, but we had saturated atmosphere all the way up to about 5,000 feet. So almost the perfect ingredients for just a little drizzle or mist to form, not enough lift to make it into either solid rain or snow. Almost like we call them suspended, super cooled water droplets is basically what they are. And it kind of just hangs over the area and falls lightly as a mist. Does that explain it?
Well, yes, it does, and that's what we had, folks. So really, it's not about necessarily the temperature at that point and how it's going to fall. It has a lot. There's just so many other factors.
There is, and I had and in fact, I just answered one of our listeners, Jake. He listens to us, and he basically had the same question, like, how come all these days last week of fog? He said all the trees were coated white. He goes, we usually will get that every once in a while, but it's gone by noon, and this hung on for literally a week. And it's basically, last week we had what's called a temperature inversion. So we had warm air 5,000 feet aloft that was in the 40s, yet it was in the teens at the surface. So that traps all that cold air at the surface. You had a lot of moisture and just caked everything white with fog, and so that was the reason for last week. So it's been an odd January. We've had a lot of kind of odd weather for this time of the year.
How's that for a scientific open?
There's a scientific open for you.
That's such a scientific open. I'm probably going to need to catch up with the news before I can hear any more from you guys. Does that sound right?
Did we blab on? Did we blab on too long there?
No, we could keep blabbing, but
nope.
Maybe we should just send everyone over to ABC News.
We got to pay some bills.
Yeah, let's go do that now. We'll be right back.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. The latest big tech company to announce big layoffs is Microsoft, with the latest. ABC's Alex Stone.
In a letter to employees, Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella says we're living through times of significant change and that the company will be laying off 10,000 workers by the end of the year. That's about 5% of Microsoft's employee base. Notifications are beginning to go out today. He says they're eliminating roles but hiring in strategic other areas important to Microsoft. Like many companies, Microsoft is looking to trim costs and economic uncertainty in a wave of advances in artificial intelligence. Alex Stone, ABC News.
Another sign inflation is slowing down. The Producer Price Index, which tracks prices at the wholesale level, showing they were up 6.2% in December compared to a year ago. It is the 6th month in a row that they have declined. Fed Chair Jerome Powell testing positive for COVID. He is said to have mild symptoms. A Massachusetts man who police say Googled how to stop a body from decomposing is now officially charged in the murder of his missing wife.
2 days after Christmas, Brian Walsh used Google to search for the best state to get divorced. Prosecutor Lynn Beelan said Walsh made a different decision.
Rather than divorce, it is believed that Brian Walsh dismembered Anna Walsh and discarded her body.
Beelan said Walsh was seen on surveillance images struggling to heave a trash bag into a container. She said he also did a series of Google searches, including how long before a body starts to smell and 10 ways to dispose of a dead body if you really need to. Walsh pleaded not guilty. He was ordered held without bail. Aaron Katursky, ABC News, New York.
Standoff in Washington, the debt limit deadline tomorrow night. Hardline House Republicans are pushing for big cuts in the budget before they agree to borrowing any more money. The White House says it won't negotiate over that. Cause of a deadly chopper crash in Ukraine still being investigated. The crash killed the country's interior minister and more than a dozen other people. Dow is down 157. This is ABC News.
Do you know what people see when they Google you? Search engines don't always get it right, and when they're wrong, it's your reputation on the line. So what do you do when you don't agree with your search results? Call Reputation Defender at 800-401-6681. Reputation Defender by Norton is one of the most trusted names in online reputation repair. We have over a decade of experience in fixing people's search results, and we can help you too. Using cutting-edge approaches, Reputation Defender pushes unflattering information down to lower pages of your search results, where few people ever look. We also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, letting you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. You owe it to yourself to take control with Reputation Defender. Visit www.reputationdefender.com or call 800-401-6681 for free advice on your situation. 800-401-6681. That's 800-401-6681.
Farmers know a thing or two about being tough, and they hold their wheat to that same standard. Their fields need to be able to take on anything, because there's no telling what tomorrow has in store. That's why Westbred brand wheat offers varieties like the new WB 9606, offering good stress tolerance, and WB 9719, offering outstanding yield potential and excellent standability. Meet your standards of excellence. Plant Westbred. Performance may vary.
When it comes to cereal disease protection, Prosaro Pro 400 SC fungicide from Bayer makes all the difference. With 3 effective active ingredients for overlapping control of foliar and head diseases, and a flexible application window for head scab, it's formulated to lower DON, protect yield potential, and promote superior grain quality. Prosaro Pro. The future of plant health starts here. Visit prosaropro.com to learn more. Always read and follow grain marketing and all other stewardship practices and pesticide label directions.
Welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus. Thanks for rejoining us 111 this afternoon. I'm Meteorologist Justin Storm with Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki and Ag Director Bridgette Readel. And we had so much explanation going on at the beginning of the show, we didn't even get to tease what's coming up on the show today. We have...
Exactly. There's so much action, you guys. Way to go.
Yeah, we have 2 great guests that'll be joining us in our next segment. Bridgette, do you want to introduce who they are?
I would be happy to. And so we have guests joining us today from New York State. They are onion growers. They are Dylan and Rane Sorbello. And they're going to talk to us about, well, how does that happen? I mean, I know how I plant onions in my garden. I don't think this is the same setup. And I'm pretty sure they aren't hand harvesting all of them. So I'm looking forward to hearing how this process works and where their onions go.
I think that'll be very fun. It'll be interesting to know if they plant a petunia in their onion patch.
Please.
Just one little petunia in their onion patch.
One lonely petunia in an onion patch. Man, I wish we could bring that song back.
I wish we could too.
Oh, maybe one day.
So, guys, weather going to be okay the rest of the day?
Yeah, it looks like it. I mean, there's still areas of patchy, freezing drizzle out there, and freezing mist, really, and we're starting to get drier air to punch into the area, and I think that'll be the case as we head throughout the late afternoon. So conditions not that bad out there as they were this morning. So we'll see improving conditions throughout the rest of the day. Temps going nowhere. We're in the teens, and we're stuck in the teens. But with the cloud cover, it's not going to drop off that much at night. So temperatures overnight are only going to bottom out in the low teens to around 10 above. And we're kind of stuck in this same old weather pattern all the way through Friday, with highs in the teens and overnight lows in the upper single digits to right around 10 above or so. And not until the weekend before we start to see slightly better weather. At least we'll be in the 20s. And then we'll see a clipper system come in here Sunday night into Monday. And then just periods of flurries and a little bit of light snow next week before the bottom falls out by the end of next week, it looks like, with a pretty good punch of Arctic air. How long that sticks around, though, is in question.
I like how you always say it's a punch of Arctic air. It's never anything nice and pleasant, like it just glides on in. No.
If it's a punch, it's like, you're in a boxing match and it's bam, quick punch jab instead of, a knockout blow. We're not going to have a knockout shot of Arctic air, just a punch. That's all.
I like the expressions
you like the analogy
over there, the body language.
I get into it, man.
I see that.
I get into it.
I see that.
And I haven't had much sleep.
This is why people should watch us on video, because it just adds to the excitement.
It does.
That's exactly what it is.
Well, why don't we touch on an ag topic here before we get our guests on today? And
okay,
why don't we
Where
talk
do you
about
go, Justin?
vaccinating honeybees, because that to me just kind of sounds.
Now that's what I call a sticky situation.
A sticky situation.
Everybody get out their teeny tiny syringes. Here we go. No, I'm kidding. So here's the situation. Honeybees have had, they've had some problems in the last few years. There's a lot going on for them. Sometimes their habitat gets destroyed. There can be some accidental oversprays that happen from pesticide use, and they even have their own disease problems. One of them is called American fool brood. And what happens is the insects, which in the past researchers have always felt that you couldn't vaccinate an insect because they don't operate on the same level that maybe humans or other mammals may. Well, USDA has given a conditional approval for this vaccine, and you don't have to try to give a jab to each tiny little bee. Instead, what they're going to do is they're going to administer a drug, the vaccine, mix it with the queen-fed worker bees in the royal jelly that they eat, and then it makes its way through the drones, it feeds the queen, and the offspring will then be born with immunity against this bacteria that causes problems in their hive. It's important to us here in North Dakota. We are #1 in honey production in the nation, but overall across the U.S., about a third of our fruit and vegetable crop need honeybees for pollination. And so this actually could be very helpful in increasing our pollination numbers now.
And didn't we have a honeybee shortage just a few years ago, Bridgette, where like they were seriously worried about the population not disappearing, but drastically reduced?
It was drastically reduced. And if you recall, we also have had a guest on who's a beekeeper that was Sperry apiaries from Kindred, and they have mentioned that so far they're keeping up, things have been overcome, but we do know that we don't want to have a total loss of our honeybees by any means.
Right.
We want to make sure that we continue to do what we can so that they can be there for commercial production, not just what we do in our own backyard production.
Right. And do you know if, I think it was Honey Nut Cheerios was doing this promotion, I don't know if they still are, but the Save the Bees promotion, where if you go onto their website, they'd give away free wildflower seeds to anyone that wanted them to kind of help with the honeybees?
There's actually a number of companies that have done that over time, that you can put out seeds that are plants, primarily flowers, that are favorable to the pollinators. And we always would encourage folks as well, if you're going to spray your backyard like I would for mosquitoes, then I would make sure that I'm taking care to stay away from the areas in which those pollinators like to spend their days, so that I don't wipe them out. Know where hives are. Farmers have the opportunity to work with their departments of ag in either Minnesota or North Dakota to know where hive locations are, if beekeepers can help to update that map so that we don't have those accidental oversprays, etc. So those are all important things in order to keep our bee population healthy, right in there with that vaccine. So next up though, guys, I don't know that we need a pollinator for this one, and that is when we bring on Dylan and Rane Sorbello. They are onion producers from New York State, Western New York State, I believe. And we're going to visit with them. I don't think they need the bees in their farm, but we'll find out when we come back right after this.
Are you afraid of the dentist? Putting off much needed work on your dental health because you're uncomfortable in the chair? There's a lot of reasons that people fear dental work. But that's why Sedation Dentistry is here. Dr. Jeff, my dentist, designer smiles, does sedation dentistry. It works great. You can complete years of dental work in one visit. Call to schedule your appointment at 701-298-9400 to find out more, or go to fargodentalcare.com.
What do you call a place that feels like home every time you walk in? A place with plenty of TVs to watch a Saturday or Sunday game and still be able to carry on a conversation. It's known for delicious lunch specials, soups, and appetizers made from scratch every day. We call it Midtown Tavern, where they don't skimp on food or drinks anytime. Head to Midtown and enjoy Wednesday wine night, live music nights, and Dwayne's Pizza any day of the week. That's Midtown Tavern, Highway 10 East in Moorhead. See Facebook for specials, watch parties, and live music.
Big tech is a real danger. They're supposed to be neutral, but now a new book by Congressman Ken Buck blows the lid off their censorship. It's called Crushed, Big Tech's War on Free Speech. In Crushed, Congressman Buck shows how Google, Facebook, and Twitter suppress the truth about Hunter's laptop, COVID, President Trump, and more. Crush shows how Google uses its monopoly to hurt consumers and silence conservatives. Big tech controls the information flow, but they ignore your right to free speech. If you're tired of their bias, fight back. First, get Ken Buck's Crushed. Then all this week, watch Rob Schmidt's show on Newsmax. Every night, Rob talks to Ken Buck about Crushed and its revelations. You'll find out how Google uses search, ad networks, Gmail, and even YouTube TV to censor conservatives. It's shocking. Get Ken Buck's Crushed today and watch Rob Schmidt tonight on Newsmax. I watch Newsmax, and so should you.
The chilly weather is here whether we like it or not. And the team at Precision Concrete Cutters Ramjack North wants you to know that because Mother Nature doesn't rest this time of year, neither do we. The frost and snow create moisture in the ground. This can cause stress on your foundation. Precision Concrete Cutters Ramjack North, we have the solution for every basement problem.
So when Mother Nature strikes, contact your complete foundation experts, the team at Precision Concrete Cutters Ramjack North. Go to pccnd.com. That's pccnd.com.
Welcome to the 48th Annual Bean Day from your friends at Fessenden Co-op Association. They're a farmer-owned and operated local cooperative that's committed to providing its members with markets for grain and grain products, as well as supplying farm-related supplies. Fessenden Co-op Association proudly served generations of farmers owners with agricultural goods and services since 1943. They have steadily grown their operation by holding true to their original values of courage, faith, and trust. Remember Fessenden Co-op Association online at festcoop.com.
To WDAY Weather and Ag in Focus. So glad that you are here. And if you would like to join our conversation, you can call us at 701-293-9000. By us, I mean that you're joining myself, Bridgette Readel, Ag Director, along with Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki and Meteorologist Extraordinaire Justin Storm. And we have fabulous guests with us today, and that's why you're going to want to keep that phone number handy. Be ready to call with questions. Our guests today are Dylan and Rane Sorbello, and these gentlemen raise onions in western New York, but in New York State. So welcome, gentlemen. Tell us a little bit about where you are and what you're doing.
Hey, how you doing? Hello, everyone. We're fourth generation farmers. We're in central New York. So we're at the southeast corner of Lake Ontario. We're inland maybe half an hour. That provides very good growing conditions for onions in our area. We farm on very fertile mucklands, and that provides a good seed bed for our onion seeds.
All right, let's start there. Onion seeds. So you're literally starting from tiny seeds. Are we talking yellows, whites? What do you plant with? Is this just a regular pony drill, or we're using air seeders? Or tell me what this looks like when you get ready to go in the spring.
So we're planting with an onion seed that's coated with some fungicides and pesticides that help protect against invasive species, and it's about the size of a BB, maybe even smaller. It's very small. It's very precise where our planter puts it. We use a special planter made by Monosem. It's an air planter. It pulls seed to a plate, drops it precisely right where the placement of an onion needs to be, and that dictates your whole outcome of your crop is your spacing and seed depth. So it's a very, very intricate planter, and if you don't have that right, you're off to a bad start.
So we're familiar with the Monosem planters over here. We use them for sugar beets as well. And are you putting a starter fertilizer down at the same time?
Years prior, no. We're actually switching to that this year. We're going to use an in-furrow treatment. Prior years, we had chemical in the drench instead of seed coating. Technology has made it so now the seed coating is, coated with the stuff that you need. So we got away from that. We used to put like 70 gallons the acre of water down with the seed. So now we're going to do like a 40 gallons the acre treatment. 6 gallons of that's going to be starter, and use that water to help that little seed germinate and pop up through, get better emergence that way.
And what do you do with your crop then? Do you sell it locally, or what happens at harvest time?
So at harvest time's a big time of year for us. A lot of labor, a lot of equipment. So just to give you some perspective, an acre of onions should produce about 55,000 pounds. So we put those into wooden onion boxes. Those get stacked outside, curing weather. The weather in the fall helps cure the hide of that onion with the cool fall days and the sunshine. And our selling starts at that time. We sell wholesale to multiple repackers that are in New York State. They're more located closer to New York City or the tri-state area. So they repack into 2s, 3s, 5s, 10s, and sell to the chain stores that sell the onions.
I see. And what does the harvest look like? I mean, what kind of equipment are you using? How difficult is it to do the harvest, and how long does that operation take?
So we have specialized harvesters. They're special made here. Our brand harvester is a Shutnik onion harvester. It's kind of similar to a potato harvester, but instead of discarding vines, we're discarding the dried down top of the onion that is removed and blown out the back of the harvester and left on the ground. And then that goes up a cross elevator as the tops are removed, and that we use 2.5-ton military trucks because they're lightweight and it's better on the soil for compaction purposes. And those trucks have a V body on the back with a chain underneath, so a live bottom, and then we have a boxing line that essentially some of the debris gets shook out of them and they go in the box, so that way there's not dirt and other plant matter and rocks and stuff like that, damaging and making our onions dirty. Right.
So when you're using that, like you said, it's almost a potato-like harvester. And so when I think about a potato harvester, you're using a fair amount of metal, you're trying to prevent bruising and so forth. Are onions easier to bruise than, say, a potato or a sugar beet? Do you have to have some rubber conveyors involved there to prevent that bruising so they don't get damaged before they go to storage? How would that work?
That's a good question. Onions have a very good skin. That is like one of the most important parts of varieties that we try to select is the skin and the outer layer, so that way they do not get bruising. But I mean, they're not rocks, essentially, so you do need to be cautious with how you handle them. And there are, like you said, rubber padding and diversions that do help from them getting bruised or beat up, or it's called pressure bruised, is kind of where they look more square type. And so, yes, you need to be delicate, but you don't need to be as delicate as a tomato or a potato or something of that nature.
And how many onion farmers are there, do you guys know, across the U.S.? Because obviously it's not as widespread as soybeans, corn, potatoes, sugar beets, stuff like that. So how do you guys rank, I guess, in terms of how big your production is compared to some maybe other smaller onion farmers?
So in our area, there's about 2,200 acres of onion growing land. And out of that 2,200, we're about 400 of that. So to give you perspective of that, and then there's 3 counties in New York State that grow about the same acreage. So in Western New York, there's another farmer, and then a lot of it is down near Orange County, which is in the tri-state area. They grow a lot of vegetables to supply that area. But there's farms in Michigan and Wisconsin. It's really the longitude that you can follow, and there's going to be onions across that same longitude.
Yeah.
Is it a pretty drought-resistant crop? I mean, is it a lot of crops obviously they're not very drought resistant, and with the wild swing in weather at that latitude, it's it can vary, obviously. So does it do okay in drier conditions?
We are very susceptible to weather. Weather patterns affect us immensely. Onions are a very shallow-rooted plant. They don't have a strong root system, so that is the biggest selection in our varieties of what soil type we're putting them on, to select what variety goes where, because if you put something that doesn't do well, then you're going to have some very small onions.
Great. And guys, we're going to hit bottom of the hour here real quick, so we're going to head to break. But when we come back, we've kind of been touching on how things have looked for seeding with onions, how it looks during harvest, where they go after harvest. I got a few questions I want to hit in between planting and harvest. What are the growing conditions like for these onions? What are some threats, concerns? You kind of touched that weather is one of them, but are onions susceptible to different diseases, different pests? So we'll hit that when we come back. So stay tuned, because Weather and Ag in Focus. We'll be right back.
When gaming is kept charitable in North Dakota, it's a big win for our communities. Charitable gaming helps with affordable childcare and youth activities. It helps families with expensive medical costs. It creates outdoor opportunities for veterans and people in need. It does all this while helping our economy and easing our taxes. Learn more from the Charitable Gaming Association of North Dakota online at cgand.org and ND Gaming Alliance at ndgamingalliance.com.
Do you suffer from stiff, achy, chronic knee pain? Have you been told you have arthritis? Is knee pain keeping you from enjoying your favorite hobbies? If so, the next 60 seconds could change your life. Please listen carefully. If we find you are a candidate for our unique approach, we will do a trial treatment, and day one you will know without a doubt if we can help you. Pick up the phone right now and call 701-502-6200. And best of all, we may be able to reduce and even eliminate your knee pain without pills, shots, or surgery. Due to limited capacity, you must call now at 701-502-6200. Hurry. Call now to find out if you qualify for our program that is changing lives and helping people save time, money, and agony. Call now 701-502-6200. You have nothing to lose, so call right now.
Attention business owners, did you know that burglary and theft in Fargo is nearly 2 times higher than the national average? Walmart recently said that if theft doesn't slow down, they'll have to raise prices and shut down stores. Target projects they'll lose $600 million in net profits this year due to theft. As a business owner, you need to protect your business and your profits. You need a security solution. And right now, for a limited time only, 702 Communications is offering business security solutions that will protect you, your business, your employees, and your profits. To find out if you qualify for a 702 Communications business security solution, call right now at 218-304-8676. Again, that's 218-304-8676. Imagine the peace of mind you'll have knowing that your security solution is monitoring your business 24/7, 365. That peace of mind is priceless. So call now at 218-304-8676. Again, 218-304-8676.
Do you know what people see when they Google you? Search engines don't always get it right. And when they're wrong, it's your reputation on the line. So what do you do when you don't agree with your search results? Call Reputation Defender at 800-401-6681. Reputation Defender by Norton is one of the most trusted names in online reputation repair. We have over a decade of experience in fixing people's search results, and we can help you too. Using cutting-edge approaches, Reputation Defender pushes unflattering information down to lower pages of your search results, where few people ever look. We also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, letting you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. You owe it to yourself to take control with Reputation Defender. Visit www.reputationdefender.com or call 800-401-6681 for free advice on your situation. 800-401-6681. That's 800-401-6681.
As a Walgreens pharmacist, I talk with people all the time about little tips and tricks for filling their Medicare prescriptions, like taking advantage of Walgreens 90-day refills to save them a trip, or using Refill by Scan, which is super easy and right on your phone. And for anybody worried about prescription costs, I say, hey, we got you with low-cost copays on many medications.
Let's talk about making things easier. Walgreens is here. Fill your way and save at walgreens.com/Medicare. See pharmacists for restrictions and exclusions.
Welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus. Thanks for rejoining us this afternoon, 1:35 right now. I'm Meteorologist Justin Storm with Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki and Ag Director Bridgette Readel, and our guest today, Dylan Rane Sorbello. And if you'd like to join in on our conversation, we're talking about onion growing over in New York. Feel free to do so. Give us a call. We want to hear from you. I'm sure the guys here would love to answer any questions you have. 701-293-9000 is the phone number to the studio here. Again, 701-293-9000, or you can reach us via email anytime during or after the show at weatherorag@flagfamily.com. And when we left off, we were kind of touching on what was going on up until planting and after harvest. But what about during the growing season? Guys, I want to know, how long is the growing season just to start off for onions? I mean, what time of the year do you plant, and then what time of the year do you harvest?
Okay, so most of our varieties are yellow cooking onions and red cooking onions. So they take approximately between 100 and 120 days to mature, depending on the variety. We try to plant. The soil needs to be warm, kind of like corn, but we're probably 2 weeks before corn planting because of the muck soil warms up quicker. So that's usually around the 20th of April for just a benchmark, and we like to be done by the 20th of May. Anytime after that, you lose maturity days, growing degree days, so you just don't get the onion to mature properly.
I see. And we
so
usually shoot. Oh, sorry. Go on.
Yep. Sorry. So after planting, we go right into our pre-emergent herbicide. Because of the soil's rich nature, a lot of pesky weeds like to grow up where you don't want them, and there is no real, Roundup ready onions don't exist, or it's more conventional hand weeding and stuff like that. So we do use like Prowl and Outlook and Buck Drill and stuff like that to keep our weeds at bay. And at a certain stage, about 3 to 4 leaves, you really want to stop beating up the onions with herbicide. And that kind of goes right into what we call our fungicide program, which is to combat bacteria as best we can. We don't have bacticides, but we do use fungicides to try to combat and keep the foliage green and healthy. And that program lasts from about the 1st of June all the way till maturity date.
Great. That kind of answered my follow-up question I was going to ask was, how much labor and maintenance goes on during the growing season? Is this something you just kind of plant and then just let it ride out and then harvest it up in the fall? But that sounds like you got a decent amount of work that's going on throughout the through the growing season. What about threats and concerns for onions? You kind of touched on it a little bit. You throw down your fungicide and your herbicide as well to kind of take down on the weeds and the potential for bacteria. But what other concerns or threats are out there for onions? Are there any, natural things that just cause them to die off or something like that?
Yeah. So probably our biggest, scariest word is hail. If hail damage will pretty much decimate your entire onion crop. It won't. The onion will still continue to grow because it is a root crop, but when you cut off all of its leaves, it does not grow very healthy. We call it internal decay, which will be not noticeable from the exterior, but it's in the center. It's like heart rot is another name for it. It's just decay that goes inside the bulb and makes it not marketable, and you can't survive on hail. Too much rain and heat that kind of adds to that same thing. but past thrips, if you're familiar with thrips, they're tiny pains in the butt for us too. So we spray heavily when needed, with our IPM program. We do a lot of scouting for thrips. And just Mother Nature, she can be very inconsistent sometimes.
Yes, it can. Yes, it definitely can. And you had touched on what kind of soil was it that you called it that you grow it in? It was a
muck
thick
soil.
muck, like actual like muck, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So how hard is it to get equipment in there?
It makes it tough. You got to watch your weight. Flotation's a huge deal. A lot of our tractors are sized appropriately to the soil. So we try to put as big of a tire on something as we can, and probably undersize the machine for its operation. We go out there with maybe 155 horse tractors. That's our plant tractors. That's our tillage tractor. And our onion harvesters are around 20,000, 25,000 pounds with good sized tires on it. And like Rane said earlier, we use deuce and a half Army trucks. They float well. They're 6x6 drive. They stay right on top, just where we want them. So yeah,
with the soft soil, and you had kind of touched on that, you use the lighter vehicles and probably don't go in when you don't need to. Do you do anything with drones, whether it's inspection or application on the onions?
Yeah, we love drones. It makes our life a lot easier as far as scouting. We work a lot with nutrient ad solutions, and they actually have somebody on staff, and he is awesome. He has showed us issues with our singulation as far as planting. We've learned we're kind of rotating a lot with corn and soybeans now, so we've learned a lot in how to grow corn and soybeans by being our own critic, by seeing it, like Dylan says, it's almost like someone picks you up and elevates you, and you can see your whole field, and you can see, the north corner versus the south corner and soil types. Drones are a very, very important tool to what, and we like to see that the drones keep evolving as far as spraying ditch banks and seeding and stuff like that. It's definitely a really cool tool.
It is super cool.
So when I think about all the things that you guys are doing, two things come to mind. One, how big are these onions? Because I know what the size of them are when I raise them in my garden, number one. And two, how long have y'all been, not that small, Justin, I get bigger onions than that. And how long have you been raising onions? How did this all start? Because I'm going to guess that maybe great grandpa didn't have the corner on the onion market at the time he was homesteading.
So start from the beginning. Our great grandfather did come over from Italy. 1923, started the farm, a farm that we still use today. And he started as a sharecropper on 5 acres and grew multiple vegetables. Onions were a crop among other crops in this area. And as this area evolved to, bigger equipment and bigger farmers, lettuce and onions were kind of a split. A lot of lettuce was grown in this area, and then in the 90s, lettuce kind of died off, and onions has been the predominant crop for what we're doing. We market our onions mainly what we grow we set our sights on a 2 1/4 to a 3-inch onion. That's what we want to grow our crop for. Now, does that happen all the time? No. Dry year, you're going to have a lot of 2-inch onions. A really good growing season with a lot of rain, they're going to grow big, and you're going to have 3-inch plus onions. The issue with that is, like Rane touched on earlier, the internal decay ramps up. You got a lot of wet weather, and like onions, they're very susceptible to that. Every leaf of an onion is a ring of an onion. So if you get one leaf that gets to decay, pulls that in, you've got it inside the bulb, along with some pathogens in the soils that do attack the basal plate and can come up through the basal plate as well. But yeah, so that's our market that we shoot for. So,
well, when you said something can come in and attack them, just like that, what you mentioned earlier about those tiny pain in the butt thrips, because they are tiny and they're a real pain. We did have an email question, and that is, I happen to know that a lot of your crop is marketed to the East Coast, but what parts of the country have the strongest demand for onion? Or would you say it's pretty level across everywhere, we're all using onions universally?
So our location actually is, we're in a pretty good spot. We're near the tri-state area of, New York and New Jersey and Philly. So that's where a lot of stuff gets consumed, obviously, because there's more population. But yeah, that's the main outlet of our onion crop is the Northeast. Some of it does go south, but it's not as often as what we sell locally.
Okay. And do you use much for hand labor? And is it hard to have enough labor for all the operations that have to happen on your farm?
Yes, there's a lot of hand labor. We use H2A workers from Mexico. We have 15 workers that come up. We're going to get about 4 here in the month of February to help us with our packaging and hand grading. A lot of that weeding that we touched on earlier is hand weeding. There's no Roundup Ready or something like that. Once your herbicide program's finished, any weeds, escapes, stuff like that is all hand wed. And at the end of the season before harvest, we have to pull our headlands back from the ditches for the machines to turn around. There's no real windrower. I mean, you could use a harvester, but what you would run over is almost worth paying the guys and women to pull the ends back. Mm-hmm. That's what we call it, pull the ends back so the machines can turn around.
Absolutely. Well, I happen to know that you guys also have a YouTube channel, and you might be just getting a little bit into social media and showing off what happens in your operation. How could folks follow you and find you out there?
So our handle on YouTube is Off the Muck. That's where we try to post weekly content on what we're doing at that point in time in the year, and the preparation of what's to come for 2023. Still at this point right now, we're still grading onions that we harvested in September, and that season will end in April, and then as soon as that ends, we'll start planting onions again. So you can see that also on our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter page at Sorbello and Sons Farms. That's where you can see that as well.
That's awesome. So I want to say thank you again to Dylan and Rane Sorbello. Thank you for joining us today to share your story about raising onions in central New York State. We do have a few onions in North Dakota from time to time, not just the ones that Justin and I raise in our gardens, but it's kind of fun to hear what's going on in a larger scale operation. So folks, we're going to check in with the American Ag Network, and then we'll be back to cap off the hour with Ag and Weather in Focus.
Driving in our area presents many challenges. You need to trust that your vehicle can get you where you need to go. According to Kelley Blue Book's KBB.com, Subaru is the most trusted brand for 8 years running. Claim one of our incoming new all-wheel drive Subaru models, and you could be enjoying that reliability sooner. Muscatel Subaru, located just off the interstate in Moorhead or online at muscatelsubaru.com. Subaru, built to last.
Listen up, North Dakota. Climb aboard! It's time to set sail for saving. Climb aboard! January 27th through the 29th. Climb aboard! And it's happening at the Fargo Dome. The boat show is coming, better climb aboard. Happy Harry's presents this chance to see all the latest in fishing boats, pontoons, runabouts, speedboats, personal watercraft, and the largest selection of docks and lifts. The newest innovations in marine electronics and accessories. Learn how to use the latest electronics to put you on more fish with fishing legend Dave Sanda. January 27th through the 29th.
the 31st Annual Red River Valley Boat and Marine Product Show at the Fargo Dome. This is North Dakota's largest and best boat show. It's great fun for the entire family. Show information and save $1 coupon at fargoboatshow.com.
The boat show is coming, better climb aboard. The boat show is coming, better climb aboard.
A Sandeco production.
Is this what you hear when you call your shop? Hi, this is Matthew Carlson, owner of Fix It Forward Auto Care. We know you've got places to go, things to do, and people to see. That's why Fix It Forward promises to get your vehicle in quickly, repairs done properly, and you safely back out on the road. With 2 convenient locations in Fargo and Moorhead, our speed of service is the service that you deserve. Fix It Forward Auto Care, the name you trust for car repair.
Fix It Forward Auto Care.
Grain and livestock markets finished mixed to lower on the day Wednesday. You're listening to the American Ag Network. I'm Jesse Allen with this closing market update. Well, stocks and the grains and livestock found some early support. Inflation retail sales data suggested we could soon see a pivot in the Federal Reserve's monetary policy, but we turned lower on later data showing sectors of industrial production already in recession. Corn and soybean prices tried to establish themselves again above the December 30 highs on the charts. We did that Tuesday, but we lost momentum as the dollar firmed off the outside market news and also a wetter forecast for Argentina, which is continuing to deal with major drought issues. Overall, as the money flow shifted away from grains and livestock, that just turned us to the downside pretty much across the board. Pressure in the stock market as well on the day Wednesday, and overall, just the market sentiment just shifted to a risk-off mentality. It'll be interesting to watch how the markets continue to react as we work through the week. Final numbers on Wednesday: March corn down 4, 681 1/4. July corn down 4 1/2, 668. March soybeans down 15 1/4, 1524 1/4. July beans down 18 1/2 at 1515. Soybean meal for March down 3.10 a ton, 478.10. March bean oil up 28 points at 64.12. Chicago wheat for March down 9 1/4, 742 1/2. July down 7 1/2, 753 1/2. March Kansas City wheat down 14 1/4, 841 1/2. Spring wheat for March down 17 at 899. July spring wheat down 15 1/4, 891 3/4. February live cattle down 20, 156.80. April up 12, 160.22. January feeder cattle down 15, 179.50. March up 42, 181.72. Lean hogs February down 112, 77.32. April hogs down 192 at 86.20. That's a look at closing markets for Wednesday here on the American Ag Network. I'm Jesse Allen reporting.
Welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus. We want to thank you for joining us this afternoon. And we got we got boat show tickets to give away today. So listen for that Caddyshack sounder. And when you hear that, pick a number between 1 and 5.
6.
Ah, man. See what I got to deal with, Bridgette? 2, 3?
I do. That's why I'm holding up 3 fingers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Caller number 3?
After we get your...
Yeah, you got to wait for the sounder, and whenever you hear that sounder here between now and the end of the show, be caller number 3, and Jacob will take those calls. But
we can take them.
Okay, well, we can.
Hey, you scratched my ankle!
What was
someone
that?
scratched his anchor.
Somebody scratched his anchor.
How do you scratch an anchor?
I don't know, but you better get to the boat show, and we've got 2 tickets available. Caller number 3, 701-293-9000, and that is next weekend.
I think it's next. Yeah, it is next weekend, isn't it? Everybody loves the good old boat show.
Yeah, not this coming weekend.
Let's see. When is
following.
that going to be? That's going to be coming up here soon. All right,
27th.
let's see. We're starting to get callers. Oh, my man. There's a lot of people that listen to this show.
That's
all right,
good.
let's start. Hi, you're caller number 1. I'm sorry. Try again. Oh, put them on hold. Drop them. There we go. All right. Hello, you're caller number 2. Sorry, try again. Should I pick up caller number 4?
No.
Hello? Who's this?
This is Paul.
Hi, you said Paul?
Yes, it is.
Paul, congratulations. You're caller number 3. You're winning a pair of tickets to the boat show.
Sweet.
Have you gone in
Thank
years
you.
past?
Yes, I have.
You enjoy it?
Yes. Get ready for spring.
Yeah, no kidding. After a winter and snow and fog and cold, it's nice to think spring. You see the new boats and maybe buy a new one.
Buy us a boat.
Buy us a boat.
Straight up.
Well, Paul, do you listen to Weather and Ag often?
Every day.
Hey, I'm glad to hear that. Thanks for listening, and we're going to hook you up with that. Stay on the line. Our producer will get some information from you on how you can pick up those boat show tickets.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right. Well, not boating weather. It won't be for a while.
Yeah.
For a while now. And
Boating weather somewhere.
Yeah. Well,
not
yes.
here. Definitely not here.
But for us, we're what you see is what you get. It's Groundhog Day. Really, that's what it. If you've seen the movie, it's minus the snow. We got the same weather day after day after day here. And we'll continue this all the way through Friday before things start to change a little bit for the weekend as we warm up into the 20s. Clipper system brings a little light snow in here as we head into Sunday night into Monday. Doesn't look like a big deal. Kind of like the last system that came through, pretty light. And then a quiet week next week before Arctic Air is set to make its move by the end of next week. And then we're almost ready to turn our calendar into February.
Just about.
Yeah, and if you follow us online, you can follow our LRC calendar online. And February looks to be, it has a potential to be a stormy month.
Definitely a cold one.
Yeah, we're going to get into that active part of the LRC cycle. And with that being said, now let's see how these storms act, because we just finished cycle 2, and all these storms a lot of them went south. We're in cycle 3 now, and let's see if these systems continue the southward trend during the 3rd cycle.
Oh, guess who has a lot of travel plans in February?
Oh, and that's why it's stormy. Now we found out.
That would make sense now.
Thanks, Bridgette.
Fine. Anytime.
Wait, where are you traveling
fun
to?
fact. Well, if I tell you, then it's just going to follow me. So if I make it a surprise, there's less of a chance I get snowed in somewhere.
Just hoping we'd get like a heads up, if you're staying around North Dakota, if you're going down to Texas, maybe you could skirt some.
Actually, well, there's going to be some problems then in Louisiana, Florida, Indiana.
Great.
Sorry, guys. Best of luck down there.
Hope it don't snow.
A little fun fact, though, because we just had two guests actually from New York. I wanted to let you know, as I have this sheet of different little state statistics regarding ag. In New York State, there's something called the Billion Oyster Project, and that has restored 75 million oysters to New York Harbor as it is trying to rebuild habitat for hundreds of species, but one of those species is, in fact, oysters. Something we should all know.
Wow.
I'm an oyster fan. Nice to know what's going on in other states.
That's super cool.
Interesting.
That's very interesting.
Wanted to throw that out there for you. We should always know things about other states and their agriculture.
I think it's at least important to learn something new every day, and that was something that I didn't know about.
We already talked about vaccinating honeybees, so there was something new. And Dean, it looks to me like in your free time this summer, we could send you to New York State if you wanted to help out on an onion farm. I think they've got room for you.
Little side gig? That works.
Why not?
Why
not,
right?
Dean?
In case the chicken ranching doesn't turn out for you.
We'll see. I mean, I've got to get the
egg prices are great for them.
I've got to get the dogs to herd the chickens, but I mean, if we keep those egg prices up, I won't need a side gig. That will be my side gig.
That will be. You will be just fine.
Well, Bridgette, why don't we hit another topic here to wrap up Weather and Ag in Focus? And this is one that's kind of interesting to me. I wasn't really expecting this to be a thing because we don't really necessarily like it, but amaranth as a food dye?
Okay, so I'm kind of hard on Palmer amaranth. That is a weed. That is a problem, and it's a very hard to control weed in many places. But there are 48 different varieties of amaranth, and researchers at University of Illinois are finding that a lot of times food dyes, especially natural food dyes instead of the artificial, can leave a taste behind. A lot of reds, their food dye comes from beets, and people don't like the taste of beets. But amaranth, with 48 different varieties of it, can allow for dyes to go from burgundies all the way to lime green. And so they're working on that as a food dye. Amaranth is a tough to kill weed in some cases, but now it could also be a plant that could be very diligent, easy to use when it comes to these natural food dyes. And so I might give Palmer amaranth a bad rap, but it could have a fit in some other places. Work is being done. We'll see where it goes from there, but that is one fit for it. Yeah.
At least it's got
something
a
little different. Everything should have a purpose. That's what we're trying to make sure we know what they are.
Very interesting.
What do you want to hit on?
Okay, guys.
Let's do national weather real quick because we've got about a minute left. Big storm system hitting the Central Plains. In fact, parts of Nebraska shut down central western part of the states for travel as a major snowstorm hitting Nebraska. That is going to end Denver. So Denver through Nebraska. And this is going to spread up through Iowa and into southern Minnesota. So if you have any travel plans going down to the Twin Cities, today is okay, but as you late tonight, tomorrow, could have some very slick travel heading south from Sioux Falls up towards the Twin Cities. So we'll be fine here, but our winds will pick up a little bit tomorrow, and that should haul in some drier air and kind of nix this freezing mist that we've had around from yesterday and today. So that'll do it for Weather and Ag in Focus. For Bridgette, for Weather Wonder Boy over here, Justin Storm. Is that really your real last name? I still don't think it is. For all of us here at Weather and Ag in Focus, we want to thank you for joining us. Be sure to tune in tomorrow. We might have more boat tickets. Have a great day.
970 WDAY AM and 93.1 FM, Fargo Moorhead.